Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, today, last week we left off on 3 points for astrology and how that'll help you develop yourself furthermore. So, this week, okay, I had to slide this one in there, okay? Moving forward, I kind of want to lean on astrology a little bit more, especially when it comes to healing. I will focus on other aspects as they come in and as I feel I need to discuss them. But this specific time, I think is really imperative that we lean on astrology at this time, because right now is a crucial point, and it's not to put fear in you, it's not to scare you, it's just to more so make you aware of certain emotions, certain feelings, certain things that may come up around this time, and to make you aware of why it's coming up and how it may be presented in your day-to-day life. Side note, if you see smoke, it's because I got Palo Santo burning over here, okay? So clear the throat, okay? Clear the third eye. Anyway, also, I got my coffee, okay? I really like the design on here, look. Okay. We do have 2 retrogrades that are presenting themselves at this time. The first one that I know of is Saturn retrograding in the zodiac of Pisces. The other one, I would have to look that up and make another video for that one. But for this specific one, we're going to focus on Saturn retrograding in Pisces. And with that, it began June 29th, and it shall go all the way through. It's gonna lead us all the way until the end of the year, ending in November, specifically November 15th. So this is a pretty long retrograde. Mind you, Saturn is a slow moving planet, so that's why it's taking so long for us to come out of this particular retrograde. But the points that will really help us in healing ourselves and understanding ourselves a little bit better, especially when it comes to healing and really recognizing our weaknesses and our strengths. This particular planet, the planet of Saturn, focuses on discipline. And with that being retrograde, this is a great time for you to not stop manifesting, not stop what you've been working on, but more so taking a relaxed approach to it. This is a time for us, of course, with us always being disciplined in certain areas of our life, the particular areas where your Saturn may be, and like I said, it will really be beneficial for you to really know your birth chart to know this. But if not, that's okay. You will still be able to see these things pop up in your life, especially after we get done going through the different points. But this particular planet, like I said, focuses on discipline. And with that particular planet going retrograde, this is a great time to relax and to just have fun and really be in that feminine energy of just relaxing and just really learning the benefit of being. Okay, instead of the more masculine aspect of our, day-to-day life, where it's more so going, doing, you know what I mean? This is a perfect time for you to just be, literally be. This is also a time where emotions will be high, at an all-time high, especially with us being in retrograde and it being in a water sign. Whew. Child, let me tell you, this particular retrograde has had me emotionally all over the place. Okay, I'm gonna let you know. Okay, I'm gonna let you know. But anyway, we're gonna keep going. With retrogrades, if you do not know already, they are a perfect time for you to reconnect with yourself. It's a perfect time for you to review things that you have already gotten done, things that you may not have gotten done. This is just a perfect time for you to really reflect on how you have been progressing in your life since the last retrograde, or even since just the last month, especially with this retrograde being at the beginning of July. This is a perfect time for you to reflect on the things that you have accomplished and the things that you haven't accomplished in the month of June. And from then on, especially with June being our halfway mark, it's a perfect time for you to just reflect on the goals that you set in the beginning of the year, how you have kept up with those things, or how you have not kept up with those things, but how you can get yourself back on track, the rest of the year, the rest of the 6 months that we have. So, with this particular planet, it also reveals where we need to set better boundaries, whether that's with other people, whether that's with ourselves, our finances, people at work. This is a great time to see where your boundaries are maybe a little too lenient or where they're maybe a little too strict. This is a time for that journal that we've been talking about, for you to utilize this journal. You have your shadow periods, which I think it is 5 to 7 days before the actual start date of the retrograde, and then maybe 5 to 7 days after that retrograde. So this allows that energy to kind of flow in slowly and then flow out slowly as well. This is also the planet of karma. Now, with karma, I think we all know the concept of karma, good and bad, whatever. I think this is a time for us to be intentional about how we are moving, what we are saying, and how that can potentially affect others and affect us moving forward. This is a perfect time for you to be intentional with what you were saying, how you were moving, okay? This is also a planet that has to do with institutional kind of aspects. So things like hospitals, prisons, all of that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Even the White House, per se. With that being said, because this has to deal with karma and all that type of stuff, as far as the hospitals and all that, this is going to really play a part in your health and how you were taking care of yourself. If you are not so good at your eating habits, not saying that you will end up in the hospital or anything like that, but it would be very beneficial for you to really lean on eating better, exercising, taking care of yourself, even allowing yourself to rest when you know it is time to rest. Now, moving on to institutions, like say for instance prisons and colleges, all that kind of stuff. I want to particularly focus on prisons. If you know that you are a hothead and you know that you don't mind giving somebody the doo-wop-whoop, or if you are currently fighting a legal case and all that kind of stuff, really be intentional about what you are putting out into the universe, especially the way that you are speaking to yourself, because with emotions being high, you are more prone to believe the things that you are saying to yourself along with your actions. So it would be a time, especially with the 4th of July coming up, if you say for instance, if you can't handle your liquor and you just like to fight everybody, really be careful with that, because you could find yourself in a sticky situation that will affect you in the long run. So really prepare yourself and really be mentally present with how you are presenting yourself in the world around you, which we will touch on emotions a little bit more, but I just want to get the main objective of this particular planet in a water sign. If you are trying to figure out how Pisces or where Pisces is in your birth chart, it is good, or to find out where this particular retrograde may affect you a little bit more, really pay attention to your sun sign, which is your typical zodiac of, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Pisces, I'm a whatever. This will be your main sign, the sign that you know that you are already aware of. Also pay attention to your rising, aka your ascendant sign, because this will let you know how this is kind of like your secondary sun sign. You show up in this particular sign, or you have these particular characteristics a little bit like secondary to your main characteristics, if that makes sense. So yeah, with knowing your sun sign and your rising, aka ascendant, this will help you to really pinpoint where this particular retrograde may be a little bit more focused for you. So like I said, if it's in your house of health or career or friendships, home, all that kind of stuff, that will be the main viewpoint of where this retrograde will really help you, or really ask you in a astrological way or aspect that would allow you to really hone in on that and really help you to work through maybe issues that you didn't know were there, or particular areas where you feel like you need a little bit more structure there and discipline. Okay, like I said, this is a perfect time for you to reflect on those different aspects. Now I am gonna move over, okay, let's see. All right, so moving on from my paper notes to my phone notes. One second. Okay, so different things that I got for this particular retrograde. Let's see. So yeah, like I said, moving on to the emotional side. Child, let me tell you, okay. Me being an earth sign and then this retrograde being in a water sign, I have definitely noticed that I have been like emotionally just all over the place, like not displaying it, but just on the inside I've been like, whew, okay, it is really it's like driving with that one person that who can't drive, and you're like, I'm trusting you to get us from A to B, but I'm nervous, okay, because you got me mentally unstable, okay? As an earth sign, we are naturally grounded. We are naturally centered all the time, most of the time. But then in a water sign, okay, they are all over the place, okay? They go from hot to cold real quick. Everybody know. But anyway, we're going to keep going. So like I said, really be intentional with where you are placing your emotions and how you are letting them drive you, okay? Do not let your emotions drive you into a hospital, drive you into a prison, drive you wherever you are not positively impacted. We'll say that. Another note, a great thing to keep in mind around this time is when emotions are high, your logic is low. So, like I said, really be intentional with where you are placing those emotions. And we'll also talk about how you can positively allow those emotions to drive you in particular areas of your life, okay? Like I said, this is a perfect time for you to journal, especially in those times or moments where you feel triggered. This is a perfect time for you to utilize that journal. Whatever emotions are coming up, allow them to come through, but allow them to be productive for you, okay? Don't let your emotions overtake you to the point where it's not so beneficial, okay? Also, not only recognizing it within yourself, but also when you are aware of how your emotions are driving you, you can see it in other people. So at this time, there may be people, places, or things that are displaying how they are working through this particular retrograde. And with that, there may be people that may want to intentionally or maybe unintentionally argue with you This could pertain to spouses, this could pertain to friendships, this can pertain to strangers as well. If you know that you are mentally centered, you are emotionally centered in that particular moment, really take a snapshot and see that other person, how they are really working through that. When you are aware of your emotional state at that particular time, and you know that you are calm, cool, and collected, but then you see that that person is not, instead of feeding into their own instability at that time, or their own lack for a better word, allow it to just pass over. Okay, don't feed into their own, say for instance, like insecurities or their own issues. For a prime example, if somebody that you don't even know wants to argue with you at a grocery store because they feel like you wronged them in some type of way, you don't know if that person was already arguing with their spouse, already arguing with children, or whoever, already in a state of frustration. So do not give your power away to people that are already in an emotional state, okay? This is a perfect time for you to keep in mind that I will not intentionally give my power away. This pertains to arguments, anything that is not of your higher good, or anything that is not meaning for you to really step out of character, okay? Don't step out of character for people that don't really deserve that type of energy, okay? Really, like I said, I'm emphasizing, really be intentional with how you are portraying yourself, okay? Because this could really impact you in the long run, whether good or bad. Like I said, this planet has to do with karma. So really take note of how you are showing up to the world around you, also within yourself, okay? Now let's see. Also, in doing my own reflection and really processing how I've been showing up for myself as an earth sign, I don't know, even with water signs, or just because this retrograde has to do with the waves of emotions, okay? Really be intentional and really take note on emotional spending, emotional eating, anything that is not in alignment, because like I said, this could really hurt you in the long run, whether financially or even health wise. And I've noticed these two things been popping up for me in my own space. So like I said, really be intentional with where you are placing those emotions. If you know that you are not emotionally centered within yourself, like I said, this is a perfect time for you to use your journal. And I do have a couple journal prompts that will, get the ball rolling on this particular area and aspect of your life. Okay. This thing keep closing. I'm sorry. Now, okay, I already discussed those things. So, cool. So, as we move on to the journal prompts, really take note of them. If you have your own journal prompts, by all means follow those, but also Pinterest is a great starting point. Even if you meditate or something like that, or you just have a question for yourself, that's a great journal prompt for you as well, because you know you better than anybody else. So with that being said, if you feel that there's a journal prompt that you could really lean on at this time, that would be very, very beneficial, especially when you are aware of your weaknesses or the areas of your life where you kind of lack a little bit. This is a great time for you to be aware of those. That way, when you come out of this retrograde, you know yourself even more, even better, and you're more improved than you were coming into this retrograde, okay? So the first journal prompt is: in moments where I feel highly sensitive or triggered, what will be my course of action to disarm the feeling being presented? Again, in moments where I feel highly sensitive or triggered, what will be my course of action to disarm the feeling being presented? So if you feel, for instance, that you need to walk away, if you know that that works for you, by all means. If you feel that you need maybe some sage around, or you feel you need a little lavender oil, or you feel that you need a salt bath, or if a particular music, however you disarm yourself from negative emotions, lean onto that at this time, because that will save you a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment within yourself, but also from the people around you. And really watch what you are saying to other people, because at around this time, either people towards you or you towards people, there could be a lot of miscommunication. It could be a lot of discord. It could be a lot of disagreements that are unnecessary and that could potentially hurt a lot of relationships, whether that's family, intimately, however. Really be intentional around this time with how you are showing up. I cannot emphasize that enough. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. Anyway, the last journal prompt is, how can I use these high tide experiences in a beneficial way? So for instance, if you have like a decision as far as career, with those emotions, if you feel that one particular career or one particular idea would really allow you to flourish in the months later past this, really lean into that. This is also a great time, because with your tone of voice, that could really allow you, especially if you work in sales or something like that, this will really allow you to sway your client or to pull them back from you and not want to work with you. So your tone of voice could really, especially if you're like naturally animated, or you're naturally like a really giddy person. I heard that as well. If you're like a giddy person, really lean onto that, because with emotions being high, people are going to be like, you know what? I feel that you are sincere. I feel that you are authentic. I feel that this is a great opportunity for me to buy that house, for me to buy that car. This will, especially if you are in sales, this is a perfect time for you to use those emotions to get what you want. Okay? Just really allow this to work for you. And as far as career or something, if you naturally feel, like I said, when emotions are high, logic is low. So if you feel that a job is really for you, or you feel that this job could really be beneficial for you in the long run, this would even be a great time for you to make a pros and cons list. That way you're including your logic as well, but you have a clear visual of how this opportunity could really benefit you in the long run. Okay? That's all I have. If I have anything else, I would definitely make another video. But the main key things is to really be intentional with how you are showing up and how you are presenting to other people as well as yourself. And also, really make sure that your emotions are benefiting you and not hindering you, okay? And also, be aware of not only yourself but also the people around you and how they may intentionally or potentially drag you into their own high tide of emotions. If you already know that somebody else is not where they need to be emotionally, breathe and step back. And you say, you know what? I see that you're not having such a good day. I'm going to let you be, because since I am centered in myself, I will not allow you to take away my power. I will not allow you to use your manipulation, use your emotional bombs, we'll say that, to take me off my path, take me off my healing journey. And lastly, if you do slip up and you do end up in those type of situations, really have grace for yourself, but also hold yourself accountable and realize that you are allowing someone else to take away your power. You are allowing someone else to decenter you. Okay, so really take note of how you are showing up. Tune in and lean into those journal prompts that I provided. I will also include them in the description. That way you have a visual of what I said and you don't have to keep going back into this video. So thank you for being here. I thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.